is Meza, and on today's episode I will teach you how to make a flatbread called chapati. This is a very popular recipe in the East African community. Now it has its origins in India because the Indians had interactions with Kenya since the 18th century, so we borrowed from them, and this is one of the recipes that we got from them. Now there's differences between this East African chapati and an Indian chapati in that in the East African chapati we use all-purpose flour. In the Indian chapati, they prefer to use a mixture of all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. And also in the East African chapati, we do use oil in the preparation, and in the Indian chapati, they do not. So this has more similarities to the Indian paratha than it does to the Indian chapati. Now I will tell you what you need for this recipe. You will need 5 cups of all-purpose flour, and then you will need 3 tablespoons of melted ghee. That's a little bit warm. Now, I like ghee because it gives it chapatis a nutty flavor. Or if you don't have ghee, you can use just cooking oil, like vegetable oil. So 3 tablespoons of that. You'll need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I use kosher salt. And to round the flavor off, I use a teaspoon of sugar, granulated sugar. And then you will need 2 cups, 1.5 to 2 cups of tepid water, warm water. And then you will need a dough cutter or knife. Okay, you will need a clean damp cloth to cover your chapatis with. You will need a rolling pin, and you will also need a plate, a flat plate with around 1 to 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour in it. Okay, and I'll show you what you use that for. You will also need a baking sheet or a flat surface to lay your chapatis on. Now I just put baking mat on my baking sheet, just that way the chapatis do not stick. Now we'll go and I'll show you over to this part. You will need a flat pan, or it's called a tower pan. Okay, you can find that online, and I'll put the link at the bottom of my description so you can see where to get that. And over here I have double boiler. Okay, what it is, it's simple. It's just a pan halfway filled with water, and then a pan that's a little bit bigger than that with a lid on it. So what happens is, as you cook your chapatis, you put them on here, and we'll have this on medium heat. So the steam from the pan heats the bottom of the chapatis, and then the chapatis keep warm and moist, and this traps the heat in there, so they keep warm and moist. And you put your chapatis in there and you flip them as you go. That way the heat is distributed evenly. Okay, so we're going to start preparing the dough. You're going to create a whale in the middle of your flour, to which you'll add your sugar and your salt. Okay, and then you're going to add the oil. Now it's a little messy. You can use your mixture if you'd like, a mixture, the one you use to make your cakes, but I prefer to use my hands. That way I can tell when the consistency of the dough is right. So you just put the oil in there and you kind of mix it up. Okay. All right. And if you do use a mixer, just put your your hook attachments in to do this. And then you're going to start slowly adding in the water. Just kind of stir it around. And you want a nice, soft, pillowy dough. And you're going to rotate your bowl as you go. Now if you find that the water is not enough, you add some more, and I'll show you what consistency we're looking for. You don't want it too hard, okay? You want it nice and soft and pliable, kind of like a pillow, you know, a nice pillowy mixture. And I have already some dough that I prepared earlier, and I'm going to show that to you. Just keep mixing. Now, in order to have a soft chapati, you need to keep kneading the dough at least for 15 minutes after all the flour is gone from the mixing bowl. Alright, and it looks like I'll add a little bit more water to it to make it nice and soft. I'm going to walk over to my sink, get a little bit of water, so I'll be back with you shortly. That is warm water. I had the water on warm right before I turned it off. And if you find that your dough is too hard, feel free to add a little sprinkle here and there of all-purpose flour to it. Don't be shy. You don't want something hard, because you want your dough nice and pliable, and that'll make for nice soft chapatis. Another thing that helps keep the chapatis nice and soft is once you've kneaded it, you let it rest for like 13 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. You see that? You want it nice and soft. A little bit more. And I put a spoon on the side there, and that's to get the dough from the side of my fingers. All right, now work the dough. You know, it looks a little bit wet, but as you work it, the flour is going to absorb the water, okay? I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of dough in there, just a little. And always make sure your hands are clean before you do anything or handle any kind of food. That just makes sense. You don't want to eat or feed people with dirty hands. I'm going to do this. Use a spoon. Get that off of there. Now I'm going to break this video into 2 or 3 parts depending on how long it goes, and I'll show you step by step how to make the chapatis. I know it looks like a long process, but I want you to get the full effect and see exactly how it's done step to step. So that's why I'm going to break it down. So this is part 1 of the video, okay? Now there you go. See that? Get in there. You got to keep doing this for 15 minutes. And another good thing about this, it's a make-ahead dish. Now you can store this dough in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days and use it as you please, you know, within that 2 to 3 days. So if you have company coming over and you don't want to be doing this on the day they're coming over, so what I'm going to do is put a little bit of oil in there. Now this, I find, prevents the dough from sticking to my work surface the next time I'm ready to use it, okay? I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to lift it so you can see. Now get in there. It's like Play-Doh. It's a lot of fun this way, I find. You just keep kneading it. Now those are going to be some soft chapatis. See that? You're looking for something like that, but you got to keep going for 15 minutes. Now, for the purpose of time, I went ahead and made another ball of dough, and I'm going to show that to you. That's what we're going to use. This I'm going to let it rest, and then I'll work on it once I'm done with these. But I'm going to put it in a cling foil. You just wrap it around in a nice, clean cling foil. Put it in a bowl until next time you're ready to use it. And then let it rest. And there you go. Now here I have one that's already done. This is the one you're going to use. Okay? I'm going to transfer this in here. And you need something with a lid just so the moisture does not escape. I'm going to put this away. And then I'm going to put this in the sink. And now we're going to use this one. Now don't mind the mess on your hands. It's all for a good cause, okay? I'm going to lightly flour my surface here so I can set the dough on it. Clean up. Okay. This is nice and relaxed. Now, when you knead the dough, a protein called gluten forms, and that's what gives the dough a nice elasticity. So if you let it rest, the gluten, you know, makes the dough softer. So that's why you let it rest. Look at that. Nice. Those are going to be nice. So you're going to take this dough and divide it into pieces, okay? Just like that. You pinch it off. Something around that size. I don't like them too big. So I'm going to start dividing that. This recipe makes around 10 to 15 chapatis, okay? Just take it and pinch it. And then we're going to cover these with a clean cloth. Okay, now I'm showing you how to knead the dough. I'm showing you with how to make the balls. And we're going to take a break. When we'll come back in part 2, I will show you how to oil them and make balls. And then maybe part 2, if we have enough time, I'm going to show you how to cook them, or we're going to do that in part 3, okay? So be sure to come right back. Welcome back. Right before the break, I showed you how to knead the dough, and then we went ahead and divided them into 10 to 15 separate parts. Now I'm going to show you how to oil and coil them, okay? So now I've taken one of the doughs. I'll show you the ones I've completed, okay? Those are the ones I've already oiled and coiled, and I've covered them with a damp, clean cloth. And then these are the ones that are not oil and cold. So I'm going to show you the two methods that I use to do this. And I should have done that. So I went ahead and rolled out one of the uncoiled dough, okay? Pieces of dough. Now I'm going to take my pastry brush and apply some cooking oil onto it. Okay, make sure you get the edges too. You don't want to put too much in there. Make sure you get the edges. That way your chapati is soft all over. And then you're just going to take the edge closest to you, and then you're going to start coiling it. See that? I'm just coiling it as I go. I find this is a simpler method, but there's also another method that I like to use that gives me the best results. So I'm going to show that to you as well. As you see, I'm just coiling it, kind of rolling it like a cigar. Okay? And then once you form the coil, you take your index finger, one end of the coil dough, and then you just roll it around. I told you this is fun. This is like being a kid again. Get to play with something sticky. And then you stick it in. And then you kind of press it down with the palm of your hand. Now you see those little coils in there? That's what's going to give the chapati those nice layers that you're looking for. Okay? That's method one. That's the simplest. Now for those of you who are more adventurous, this is the method that I like to use the most. I just put the dough in there, flatten it with the palm of my hand. Lightly dust my rolling pin with flour. And then you push. So what you do is go from the center out and you turn the dough. Center out, turn the dough. Center outwards, turn the dough. Okay, it's very elastic because it's rested and it's nice and soft. That's what you. And don't worry at this stage if the chapati does not turn out to be exactly round like you want it to. It will be in the next stage. And you're looking for something that's like quarter inch thickness. Okay. Now this is the other method I like to use. So I put the oil on the top surface, and then I lay it face down on the side that had the grease, and then I kind of gently shake the excess flour off. And then now this is the fun part. I look for the center line of this kind of circle, and then I start to fold. So I'm going to let you in and see what it looks like. You fold and press. Fold, kind of like an accordion, and press, or a fan, those paper fans you used to make as a kid. Fold and press down. Okay, and then you flip it over to this other side. Fold, press, fold, press, fold and press. Now you see these lines in here? And then you stand it up, like the side with all the folds, you stand it up, you see that? That's what's going to give your chapati nice layers. Then use your index finger, kind of tuck that end in, and then use the other hand to coil the chapati in around itself, okay? And then the tip of it, the end of it, you pull it up, over, and in, okay? And then you press down, kind of try and make it a nice little circle. See? And that's going to give you the nice coils you want. Let's do the last one more time to show you that method I just showed you, okay? Just for good measure. Lightly fly your surface. Make sure both sides. Don't worry if it's not a perfect circle at this point. Okay, I'm trying to rush because of time constraints, but bear with me. Alright, I won't make this one really pretty because I want you to see it one more time. Okay? I'm going to oil it. Get the edges. Look for the center line. Okay? Oh, let me do this. Dust it in the flour. Shake it off. Okay, look for the center line. Press, fold and press, fold and press, fold and press, and then index finger at the end, other hand, coil around, up, over, and in, press down, shape it to a perfect circle. And there you have it. So part 2 of the video, I'll show you how to cook it. We're going to roll them out again and cook them, and that's going to be the last step. So be right back with us, okay?
Yeah.